Jyoti Patel, and today my topic is emotional eating and craving. For those of you who don't know me, I practice internal medicine, pediatrics, integrative medicine, and now functional medicine in Fountain Hills, Arizona. And my intention today is simply to educate. Please share this video with anyone who might benefit. Ask any questions or comments in the section below. I'm happy to help. So let's get started. So first of all, emotional eating. I want you to know that there is no shame or blame when it comes to emotional eating. Our attachment with food was developed long ago when we were children, even infants. And the first thing that we received as a form of love was food. So it is quickly and solidly woven in the fabric of our neural complexes of our brain. And food and love are tethered together, whether it's shame, whether it's neglect, whether we're worthy, or whether it's a sign of comfort. Food has been associated with our emotional needs. So when you find yourself in a pit emotionally and you find yourself spinning in that same wheel, it has to do with that laid down early fabric of neural pathways when we were given food by the people that cared for us. So now to re-establish a new relationship with food, we must address the emotions that it's tied to. So food is not about food as much as it is about emotion. So let's talk about that. If you're one of those people that is very motivated to lose weight or very motivated to get healthy, you start out your day with good intentions and you're doing really well until the end of the day when you come home and you've got a pile of laundry and you've got dishes in the sink and you've got kids that need your attention or a spouse that needs your attention, or you're a caregiver and that stress is so overwhelming that you lose your momentum, and those stressors lead you down this roller coaster of emotional eating. You find yourself on the couch with a cup of Haagen-Dazs or a bag of potato chips and you don't even know how much you've eaten before you finish the tub. I've been there before and I know that stress has a lot to do with emotional eating. So it's important to address these emotions. Now, in order to do that, you have to be committed to taking care of yourself. So everything starts with self-love. My tips for you today involve some amount of journaling. So get out a pen and paper if you want to take some notes and exercise some of these things I want to share with you today. First, I want you to just be mindful. I want you to log your food. Write down everything you eat, when you eat it, and why you eat it. I want you to observe yourself like a scientist. What were some of the emotions that led you to eat the foods that you ate? Was it a fight? Was it a long day? Was it a boss that gave you trouble? Was there kids screaming? What are some of the reasons why you ate what you ate? And acknowledge that. Acknowledge the emotions that triggered you to eat. Second, I want you to pay attention to the reasons why you want to change. Write down, what are some of the reasons why you need your health? Do you need it because you want to be pain-free, inflammation-free, disease-free? Do you want to live longer, enjoy your life, be happy, be less depressed, less anxious, sleep better? What are some of the reasons why you must change? And what are some of the things that might happen if you don't change? You might find yourself in more pain. You might find difficulty with relationships. You might find that you have difficulty loving yourself. There are some reasons that are so important that you must change. So logging things down in terms of what you currently do, what are some of the emotions that are tied to it, and some of the reasons why you do the things that you do is so important. But more important than that is the reasons why you must change. I want you to put that somewhere where you can see it, maybe on a fridge or on your bathroom mirror, so you can be constantly reminded of the reasons why you want to change. Repeating that information is neuroplasticity. It's reprogramming, rewiring your relationship with food, okay? So first thing is programming. Second is, I want you to know that your community is very important. Who you surround yourself with plays a big role in what kind of behaviors you keep. Your spouse, or your children, or your parents, or your relatives, or your co-workers, all of these people make up your community. I always like to talk about Dr. Lipton, who writes a book called The Biology of Belief. He's a stem cell scientist. And he showed that when you put a muscle cell in a bath that is conducive for fat, that muscle cell turns into a fat cell. And when you take that stem cell, that muscle cell, and put it in a bath that is conducive for bones, it turns into a bone cell. And you are made up of 50 trillion cells. And your bath is your environment. It's what you live in every single day. So whether it's a social media group that is health-driven, whether it's a work group that is health-driven, whether it's a friend circle or a spouse or family member, join hands with someone else that you see as a role model, someone that really motivates you or at least lifts you up and helps you become more successful. So journaling, being more aware, staying mindful, knowing the triggers that set you off, also knowing the reasons why you need to change, and surrounding yourself by positive people is key. Next, sometimes we self-sabotage. We are addicted to stress. We work ourselves to the bone. We then come home and feel like we have to overdo things even when we get home. We also take maladaptive behaviors, whether it's watching television or we're on our social media or we're on our computer or we're indulging in alcohol or indulging in food or we're video gaming, things that actually keep us from resting and recovering, make us make bad decisions. These maladaptive ways that we call de-stressing or personal time actually are counterproductive and lead us down that rabbit hole of overeating and overindulging. So it's really important to set bedtime. If bedtime is at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, an hour before bed you turn off your technology, you take a warm bath or a shower, no eating or drinking and no alcohol. Maybe you get a book or a board game or play some music, or you do some meditation or some gentle stretches or yoga. Try to get into behaviors that will actually become more adaptive and throw away those maladaptive behaviors that were causing you to emotionally eat. It's hard to make change, but you have to want the change for it to happen. So always putting the reasons why you want to change in front of you on your bathroom mirror or your refrigerator will remind you as to why you need to go to bed on time. When we don't do that, when we engage in maladaptive behaviors, it causes a rise in histamine, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine in our brain, keeping us in a stressful state. And stress makes us impulsive. Now, if you've heard my videos before, you know that I talk about the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which is the autonomic nervous system that causes us to fight or flight. And when we do these maladaptive behaviors in the evening, then we find ourselves in fight or flight, which causes our cortex, our higher thinking brain, to shut down. So no longer are we logical or reasoning, or we're not making good decisions. We're actually running on impulse control, loss of impulse control. So we're working in our limbic brain. So even with the best intentions, you're not going to be successful if you're stressed. And doing any behaviors in the evening hours that are maladaptive puts us in that stress mode. So to become successful, become aware of that. And not only that, make some changes. Okay, the last thing that I want to tell you about is self-love and gratitude. A lot of times when we were young, we were given messages or we felt that we were receiving messages that made us feel a certain way about ourselves. We may feel like we're not deserving. We may feel like we're punishing ourselves. We may feel bad about ourselves, and these kinds of things can cause us to make bad decisions, self-loathe, that causes pain, and then we go back to the refrigerator to soothe that pain. And that becomes that vicious cycle of pain and soothing and pain and soothing. So starting a gratitude journal, I encourage you to ask your loved ones to tell you things that they love about you. It's an awkward exercise, but when you hear what people really think about you, you'll start to feel good about yourself. I want you to gratitude journal. I want you to write down the things that are positive in your life, the people that are positive, the things that are going really well. Because when we fill the vessel of gratitude, then when we're stressed, it doesn't seem as heavy. Self-love and gratitude are the pillars of controlling that emotional eating. So try not to force the food as much, work more on self-love, mindfulness, community, and spirit. That's my tips for today. I'm Dr. Jyoti Patel. Thanks for following me. Share this video with anyone who might benefit. Till next time.